Hi, I'm Annie Duke, World Series of Poker champion, and I'm here to introduce you to the amazing world of Texas Hold'em. With just a little bit of knowledge and practice, you can learn to play the game against anyone, even me. So I'm going to start you with the basics, and I'll have you playing the game in no time. So let's start with the most basic thing, which is the ordering of the cards. A 2 or a deuce is the lowest card, all the way on up to an ace, which is the highest card. And remember, in Texas Hold'em, all the suits are equal, so the ace of spades is no better than any other ace in the deck. Now, Texas Hold'em is an interesting game. You get dealt 7 cards, but 5 of the cards go in the center of the table, and everybody at the table gets to use them. They're called the community cards or the board. You then take your 2 cards, which are your private cards or your whole cards that you get dealt at the beginning of the hand. You combine those with the 5 cards in the center of the table to come up with the best combination of 5 cards out of the 7 total cards that you have. And guess what? Sometimes you don't even use any cards from your private whole cards, and you just use the 5 in the board because that's the best hand. So let's talk about the hand ranking so that when you play, you know what beats what. The worst hand that you can have is a hand that has no pair in it. In this case, you judge the strength of your hand by the highest card in your hand. In this case, it would be an ace. If both players have an ace, you would go to the next card, and so on down to the 3rd card, 4th card, and 5th card. The next hand in the rankings is a hand that has 1 pair in it. In this hand, you have 1 pair of kings. The way you judge who wins when both players have 1 pair is by looking at how high the pair is. The next hand has 2 pair in it. When both players have 2 pair, you judge who wins by looking at the top ranked pair. 3 of a kind is when your hand contains 3 cards that are all of the same rank, but your other 2 cards aren't paired. In this case, you have 3 sevens. A straight is when you have 5 consecutive cards. In this case, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. When both players have a straight, you judge who wins by looking at the top card in the straight. The hand that beats a straight is called a flush. You have 5 cards that are all spades. When 2 people have a flush, you judge the flush by looking at the top card in the hand. The next hand in the rankings is full house, when you have 3 of a kind and your other 2 cards are a pair. If both players have a full house, you judge who wins by looking at the rank of the 3 of a kind, not the pair. An even more powerful hand is 4 of a kind. In this case, you have all 4 nines that are in the deck in your hand. The next hand in the rankings is called a straight flush. This is when 5 cards are consecutive in rank and they're the same suit. But there's one hand that's even better than a straight flush, and that's called a royal straight flush. The best hand that you could ever get dealt in Hold'em. An ace-high straight that's all of the same suit. In this case, ace, king, queen, jack, 10 of spades. This is a hand that can't be beaten. Let's talk about the meat of the game, the really fun stuff, the betting. The casino uses something called a dealer button that passes around the table, each hand clockwise from player to player, so dealing then starts to the left of the player who has the dealer button. Before any cards are even dealt, the first 2 players to the left of the dealer button have to start off by posting antes. These antes are also called blinds because they have to put money in without ever having looked at their cards. The player who's directly to the left of the button has to post an ante called the small blind. The player that's 2 seats to the left of the button is the big blind because he's putting in the biggest ante. These bets get everything started, and then 2 cards get dealt out and the betting proceeds as normal. Everybody always has the same 3 options. They can fold, which means that I've looked at my cards and I don't really like the 2 whole cards I have and I wouldn't play the rest of the hand. They can call, which means that I would match the size of the bet that's directly to my right, or they can raise. The first 3 community cards that everybody gets to share are called the flop. After the flop, things change just a little bit. There's a 4th option, which is to check. And what that means is that I've got my $2 in there, I don't want to put any more in, and I just want to continue with the hand. Each player has an option to check until someone actually decides to bet. Once someone puts money in the pot, the check option for all the players disappears. Next, the dealer deals the 4th community card, which is also called the turn or 4th street. There's then another round of betting. The dealer then deals the 5th card, which is also called the river or 5th street. There's a final round of betting. The players that are still in the hand try to determine who has the best hand. Now that you've learned the basics of Texas Hold'em, I bet you can't wait to get out there and play. But first, let's take a moment to go back over some of the most important aspects of what you've learned. Time to put your new skills to the test. Just download our free software and get ready to experience the excitement of casino poker without that expensive trip to Vegas. Remember, it's safe and easy, so enjoy! And maybe I'll see you online.